You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you may on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. So y'all, before we get into it, let me just say I'm now an affiliate of Green Man Gaming. What that means is that there's going to be a link in the description of each video. You click on that link, you go to their website, you get discounts on all the latest and greatest games, and I get commission for whatever y'all buy. Also, my lovely girlfriend Elle is an artist in the fandom, and I've got links to her Twitter and her FA in the description as well. Just go ahead and drop her a DM or like her art if you guys want to get a commission done from her. She could really use the money, and she's very talented. So, anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. In your dreams, dandy boy, I was about to emasculate you with a swift roll followed by a kick to your ghoulies. Unbelievable. Raging male hormones all over the damn place. The skinny stranger sighs, covering his muzzle in embarrassment and drawing an amused snort from Ranok. Long time no see, Really? Really? I have a friend who has this name. He has an E right here, though. Taliesin. Huh. Interesting. Long time no see, Taliesin. Why so grumpy? If you had to deal with this prick all the damn time, you'd understand. Oh, he's saying that, but you should see the way he writes about me. One would think he's in love. The one named Aerith pumps up his chest with a grin from ear to ear embraces the hooded wolf, who does not hide his displeasure at the gesture. I told you not to go through my works. He writes about you? Ranok blinks in part shock and amusement. Tally here wants to be a bard, the fool. A scribe. The scrawny wolf corrects, causing the gruffy one to roll his eyes in mild annoyance. Even worse, I'll let scribbling and no music to show for it. Simply scribbling things for other scribblers to read. Why are you writing about him? Intrigued, Ranok crosses his arms and smiles challengingly. I'm simply trying out my prose. I've described a few duels, that's all. Interesting. Not as much as your stories, I'm sure. I want to work at the villa. I'll be writing plenty about you in no time. Oh? He's leaving my pack for this nonsense. Can you believe it? The gruffy male splays his arms pitifully, drawing a reluctant laugh from my wolf. That's quite a step down. Isn't your coming of age this summer? He asks idly, picking up pieces of his gear and slowly dressing up. It is, and I wouldn't consider my choice a demotion. If I'm going to be a true wolf, I must first be true to myself. I simply decided to pursue my real ambitions. You made any sense of that? Oh, God. Aerith flicks his muzzle towards Ranok, but my wolf only shrugs. You've read too many stories, Tally. A true wolf has to be built of sturdier stuff than parchment. I've tried this whole warrior hullabaloo, and it didn't work out. Taliesin gives them a scornful look, and the two wolves exchange taunting smirks. It's not like you tried that hard. Ranok jabs playfully, and the skinny wolf clicks his tongue. I'm not meant for combat. I never were. You two clearly were bred for this sort of stuff. He nods to their bruised and bloodied coats. You might not be a fighter, but you're one of our best trackers. Talk some sense into that fool. Aerith tries to rope Ranok into the argument. My wolf raises up his paws in defeat. I don't really have a horse in this race. Anyone can track. My skill set is limited and quite underwhelming compared to the other wolves. I mean, look at Tano. He's a pipsqueak, and yet he can take on wolves the likes of you. Ha! You and those fanciful tales you spin. The gruffy male chuckles mockingly. Tano couldn't defeat a stationary broomstick in combat. I wouldn't dismiss him like that. He's an alpha for a reason. Ranok's voice carries an air of seriousness, but Aerith only scoffs. So is Varissa. Doesn't prove much, does it? Oh no, he's sexist. I cringe internally. If Varissa can hold her own against a raging bull, I bet she can hand him his ass on a silver platter. I watch as the cocky male turns to face Taliesin with a pleading expression. I mean, how can you abandon me like that, with a green paw nonetheless? I'm thinking beyond my fists and muzzle. I make no difference in the field. I could be of greater service to the tribe if I were in charge of our written records. We haven't had an actual chronicle composed in nearly 200 years. The Tigery War, the time of strife that followed, Ranok's grandfathers and fathers' reigns. He looks to them with determination. So much stuff has happened, yet all we have of it is an oral record. Soon people who remember it will die, and the details of our recent history will be lost with them forever. I see you're serious about this. What does your father make of it? The wolf nods to Aerith, causing the bulky male to shrug indifferently. He doesn't care much, as there's quite a few pups short of claiming their names, which would need a pack to call their own. I'll have to train the whole lot of them.
Think of it this way. More muzzles to beat on.
The skinny male proposes coyly, but the gruffy one remains unconvinced. His expression shifts to that of genuine concern as he measures his friend with a risen brow. I just think Tally is throwing his life away on some fool's errand.
Mock me all you like, but I don't need either of your opinions.
Taliesin scoffs, crossing his arms petulantly.
Few moons back, I messaged the chief requesting to work at the villa as a scribe, and he agreed. So, come Equinox, you'll be seeing much more of me.
He winks to Ranok, and although at first surprised, the wolf responds with a soft smile. Oh, excuse me. I'm looking forward to it. In all fairness, I'm glad we bumped into each other. I didn't expect to find anyone out here. Ha! Likewise. The gruffy wolf nods, patting Ranok on the shoulder. Come, join us. We have a camp nearby. Not much food to share, but we have some wine. Wine will be good. As for food, I've caught a rabbit yesterday, so do not worry. We had a pheasant last night. Juiciest bird I've ever tasted.
He nearly gobbled it up on his own.
Had I known we'd stumble onto you, I would have saved you some. Highly doubt it. You barely left any for me. Big bad wolves like me gotta eat. Scrawny little mice like you can survive on scraps. Taliesin scoffs as they proceed to walk into the forest. Once there's some distance, I begin to silently follow, observing the manners of the bunny wards as I manage to pick up thus far. Silent, deferent, and at arm's length, just like the wolves like them. At first I'm being ignored, despite me shadowing their movement through the thicket, but eventually the gruffy male throws me a curious gaze. Is he, just going to stare at us, or...
Thank you!
Taliesin exclaims, joining his hands at his chest.
Someone finally acknowledged the otherkin in the forest. I didn't want to be rude, but I began to worry we were going to pretend like this is normal, no questions asked.
Oh, that's Orien. He's my ward. Trust us, we know who he is. Arif's voice carries a slight bitter tone as he turns his back on me. The hooded male, on the other hand, slows down his pace to remove some distance between us.
You speak Tiggery, human?
Tiggery. Yes, in a polite tone, but I just given an empty gaze. I bet he swapped languages without me noticing, so I played off as dumb.
Hello, Tiggery.
Lights are on, but nobody's home. Arif laughs, and Ranok gives me an apologetic smile. He's a bit timid. I'd say he's slow. I don't think he has seen a wolfkin before. So, what of it? The gruffy male scoffs. I've never seen a human in my life, yet you don't see me falling to pieces.
I have to side with Arif on this one. He is a bit creepy.
Taliesin twinkles his fingers at me and speeds up to rejoin his friends.
Silently observing us with those knowing eyes. I'd sleep with one eye open if I were you.
He shows no signs of malice, I can assure you.
Famous last words.
Eventually we arrive at a small clearing where a similar tent is set up. Everything here looks very much akin to our own campsite, which makes me smile. Ranok must have done this a lot on his duty. It feels nice to take part in this intimate side of his life in Tiernan. So, what are you guys doing here? He asks, taking a seat near the extinguished fire pit, patting a spot beside him to let me know where to sit. I do so quietly, effectively being separated from the strangers by his towering body. I'm glad for that. It makes me feel a bit more at ease in this new company. We've been assigned to the road for extra security. We've been days at it without a moment's break. Arif sighs, rummaging in their supplies to emerge with a bulging wineskin twice the size of our own. He passes it to Ranok and my wolf uncorks it, giving them a curious glance as they settle down. Seems excessive. Any reason for that? He asks, taking a swig and passing the bottle to me. To my surprise, the other two don't even bat an eye at this, and I decide to wet my lips.
There's been chatter among the sentinels. The tigers seemed rather spooked for some reason. They've tripled patrols around the forest's edge, almost as if looking for something.
Any idea what they were looking for? Ranok gives me a troubled gaze, and the gruffy male shakes his head. If you think this has something to do with your infamous coming of age, I'll have to disappoint you. They weren't looking for the human. How do you know?
Because they would have sent word.
Taliesin pipes in, as Arif passes the wineskin to him.
No, they were looking for something on their own side of the border.
Why didn't you notify the villa about this?
Who do you take us for?
The hooded wolf snorts, nearly choking on the wine.
We've sent multiple reports to your father.
Oh. Ranok sounds troubled, rubbing his neck awkwardly. I guess he didn't share those with me. Some things never change, eh? Old wolves treating us like pups. He laughs, taking a deep gulp, almost as if for emphasis. One second, y'all. Let me drink some of my coffee real quick. Good coffee.
The way you two act very much are pups, just overgrown a little.
I don't mind. Don't mind him. The gruffy male waves his paw. He's just pissy because I've accidentally dry humped him in his sleep again.
The fuck, dude? Don't say that!
Taliesin jumps up to his feet. I smile, seeing as his ears go red on the inside. He looks all cute and flustered, almost as if he indeed had a crush on his friend. Ha! You need to learn to loosen up a bit. Arif pats him on the back harshly, drawing a groan from the scrawnier male. Oh, I can definitely ship these two together. Oh my. Give me some ideas here. What's a little dry humping among friends, eh, Ranok? Yeah.
This time it's Ranok who's flustered at the comment. I looked at him in surprise. Is he known for dry humping people in his sleep? Is that something common among those wolves? But we don't get to linger on this too long, as Ranok quickly deflects the issue.
So, what about those tigery patrols? Father thought it was some poachers sneaking at night and stealing from the local farmers, but we made thorough accounting. Any missed duty was met with flogging. Needless to say, we didn't lose sight of even a single of our wolves. So what was it then? Don't play dumb with me. You know far more than we do. The strained tone of the gruffy male betrays a hint of offense. The word travels fast. We know where you were and what you did in the northern groves. Well, rumors are not the best source of information. That's why I'm asking the very hero himself. If Regera needed rescuing, shit must have gotten pretty bad.
If she needed rescuing, we're all fucked.
I'm sorry, friends. I'm not at liberty to discuss that. Ranok contracts a little, not really uncomfortable with the subject, but rather unsettled he has to withhold information from those he clearly considers as close. Had I known you were here, I'd hand you the Howl summons personally. As it stands, it will be delivered by one of the others. Not sure Father will be attending that. Arif swishes his paw dismissively. He's been taken ill for the second time this year. That, and he's also very much not keen on bumping into a certain someone. His contemptuous tone makes me immediately think of Aldris. But then again, that's just my bias. He could mean anyone, really. Well, then, he'll have to send you in his stead. It'll be nice to have at least one favorable wolf on the jury. I wouldn't count your chickens just yet, not until you explain what's the deal with the human. The gruffy male gives me a piercing yet non-threatening look, and Taliesin continues a long sigh of relief.
Finally, I was itching to press the issue from the moment you ended your childish roughhousing.
I mean, you must have heard of it already.
Not from you. News that reach us are often muddled and come from conflicting sources.
Well, I'm sure the accounts agree on this part. I found him wounded at my name tree on the night of my coming of age. Shut up! I thought it was just fancy talk. Nope, seriously. Wolf exhales in amusement and takes a deep chug of the wine, again passing it to me. I felt compelled to go against all my instincts and protect him. I take a shallower sip this time, carefully observing their reactions. To my surprise, the wolves show no sign of disapproval.
Anyone would. You're meant to go and look for a sign. What would you call that but a sign?
I took such a beating for that little shit. Arif growls in amusement, shaking his head. He swallows the wine more aggressively, a slight resentment hidden underneath his restrained reaction.
We all did.
Taliesin places a paw on his shoulder.
The entire pack got flogged the moment word reached us about the intruder.
How the fuck did that twitchy little shit get so deep without being noticed? There's a raspiness to his voice, almost as if he has stifled a growl in each of his words, but the anger doesn't seem to be directed at me. I don't know. In all fairness, the entire situation was messed up. They say it was an ambush, or some sort of ritualistic crap. Arif groans, passing the wine to Taliesin, but the male refuses with a gentle sway of his paw with his back, and with this, the bag arrives back at Ranok. He looks to them with clear sadness in his eyes, bothered by what my appearance meant to them personally. I'm not going to deny I don't feel too great myself, knowing that a number of wolves got physically punished over my sheer existence. He takes another swig, almost as if looking for courage, and exhales sharply. I found him naked and wounded, with lots of blood around. He definitely didn't do it himself. So, what are you saying? The gruffy male's wild eyes drill into him in annoyance. That we let more than just one stranger into the forest? I'm not saying that.
Well, that's exactly what you're saying.
Taliesin butts in, slight offense evident in his tone. Look, I'm sorry you've been flogged, but he was at my name tree. That part I cannot take back, even if I wanted to. It's the truth. It's clear Arif didn't want to hear that, but surprisingly, he simply looks into the extinguished fire and aims his annoyance at the charred wood. Somebody left him there to either die or got spooked by me before he managed to finish him off.
Or she. I mean, we can't assume.
Oh, shut it, Tally. Tally. I said, Tally.
Wanna get high? I don't know what's going on. Arif cuts the scrawny wolf's attempt at levity and looks to Ranok with an angered resolve. I don't need apologies. I need an explanation. If that little shit was in the forest, then I deserve what came to me. We all did. But I want to know how exactly that happened. Because unless the intruders were invisible, or the human magically came to be on the spot, I see no way for any of this to happen. I'm sorry, friend, but I don't know what else to tell you. Ranok shrugs with a pitiful expression. I wish I could explain any of this, but I can't. Either way, we have more pressing issues. Not really. We're the first layer of defense and we failed. Considering what's happening in the north, I very much think those two are connected. Perhaps, but that's for the Howl to decide. So what about him? Any insight from the human? He finally nods in my direction. Ranok shakes his head. No, he has no recollection of anything prior to me finding him. Orien is very much a victim wrapped up in this nonsense. A likely story. Taliesin flashes his brows, his sharp gaze landing on me, but Ranok has none of it. It's not a story, it's a fact. The poor kid doesn't even know who he is. That's why I'm taking him to Strandbard. Somewhere there might be some shed of light on the somewhere there might shed some light on the matter. I think it's a mistake taking him out of the forest. He should be interrogated and... It's a good thing it's not up to you then, is it? This time it's Ranok who tenses up and struggles to contain a growl, letting them know that I'm off limits in this exchange. Vul and I got all the information from the human we possibly could. Vul even went as far as to stab the damn thing. Holy fuck, that maniac! Arif laughs, patting his knee. Still, bringing him into Strandbard might rub the tigery the wrong way. A rabbit in the paw is better than two in the bush, I say. I'd say let the rabbit go if you can hear it ticking. Thank you for the invaluable insight, but I think my father knows what he's doing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.